I went, I bet you were quite good at football, weren't you? And I thought he looked like quite a natural, I thought he'd be good, he's from the north, and I thought that's all he'd have.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And he went, I said, I suppose you're quite good at football, and he turned, the quickest flash, he went, I've scored once, right? He said, and that's because I was being chased by a bee. And I went, save it!
Yeah.
He went, no, I said, please save it, because I wanted to tell Steve that. No, you can continue now.
Please tell us the rest of the story. You've scored a goal once because you're being chased by a bee.
Yeah, you've done it now, really. I was on the,
there must be more to that story, Cayman.
I was in the school team. I wasn't that good as a kid at football, to be honest. Mainly down to, I think it's because my dad wasn't into football.
Right.
And I think that's the way it works, isn't it? If your dad's into it, then you could be a footballer when you're older.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because you're into it. And so I was in the school team because I got on with the other lads. They let me in the team.
Popular guy, yeah. Sure.
And yeah, I was stood there doing nothing because I didn't really know what to do. I never knew which way I was meant to be shooting.
Yeah.
Got all that messed up.
Yeah.
I just stood there, right, and with my hands behind my back, and something landed on me on like this part of my thumb.
You can't just point. It's radio.
It's this bit here.
Right. Yeah.
The fleshy bit. The fleshy bit of the thumb. Yeah.
And I thought, oh, what's that? And I looked down, and
It
it was
was
a
a
bee.
thumb. Oh, it was a bee. Yeah.
It was a bee on me. So I start running, try to get away from it, and bees. Actually, something interesting about bees: more chance of getting stung by a bee in windy weather than any other sort of weather.
That's incredible.
Anyway, so I'm running away.
And he said there was no more.
Extraordinary. I've already learned many things. You're being chased by the bees.
So
Windy.
I'm running.
It's on your thumb. Is it still on your thumb now?
It's sort of gripping onto me like a stag beetle.
Clever.
I love it. Oh,
Or a bee.
Yeah.
So I'm running, and I'm running towards like the goal.
Yeah.
Oh God! And the ball comes to me.
Yes.
Wallop, get it in.
Brilliant. What happened to the bee? Did it sting you?
They die, don't they?
I mean, ultimately it died, sure, but at that particular moment,
I
did
mean,
it sting you?
this was probably about 20 years ago, so I imagine.
No. Once a bee stings
So
you,
did
that's
it sting
Yeah,
you?
but did it sting you?
Yeah.
Right, that was the question.
When did it sting you?
When I was playing football.
Carl, do you want me asking, you say you're on the school football team. Was there just 11 boys at your school? Was that how you got in the squad?
Listen, Carl. All I mean is, at what point in this story did the bee sting you? Straight away?
After
or
half time.
Play a record.
Went into the aquarium. Mental the amount of fish that are knocking about. They keep saying like, sea levels are rising and all this, and it's because the icebergs are melting. It's not to do with the icebergs melting. It's because there's too many fish in it. Do you know what I mean? Get rid of some of the fish, the water will drop. Simple, basic science. The weirdest thing that I saw in there is it's got to be this. Right, look at that little sloth. It's called a sloth, right? Which suggests that it's lazy, and yet we're saving them. Look at it. I mean, the zoo shuts at like 5:30, right? So animals can have a kip. So, by rights, that should be awake now. 14 quid a pay to come in here. Look, can't even be bothered opening his eyes. I don't know if it's cruel or not to sort of have him in there. You know what I mean? Look, that one's not stressed out. If you look at it, looks quite happy. So, don't know why they worry about it. It's the same the way people sort of moan about drugs being tested on animals. I sort of think, well, it depends, doesn't it? If the drug's aspirin and the monkey's got headache, is it tight? Do you know what I mean? I'm always looking on the internet to see what weird stuff's knocking about, because they're always finding new sort of, new creatures and stuff. They've found this spider in the jungle, right? 3 foot long, eats chicken. It's weird, isn't it? See, people moan saying, oh, you shouldn't lock animals up and all the rest of it, but to be honest, I wish it was locked up in there. The idea that that's roaming about in a jungle, get it locked up. And what's weird is, why have they only just found that? 3 foot long, do you know what I mean? How have they missed that? Noah made a bit of an error when, he saved everything. I would have had like a little checklist as we were all getting on. Do you know what I mean? There's someone checking them out, quizzing them. Right, what's getting on here? Right, it's a giraffe. What do they do? Now, right, leave them. Next. Did a bit more research this week.
Okay.
Found a good story out about a monkey.
Right.
Tell us about this monkey, Carl.
You're going to love this one, Steve,
Go on.
right? Yeah, so last week we were talking about how, like, a lad left his family because there was problems at home and that. He went and lived in the wood, he got airy. Right?
Yes.
No.
Leave it there, Rick. We haven't got time to go into
Right,
it.
so...
That's what happened.
And that's what happened. He lived with the monkeys, he went airy.
That's
Anyway,
what happened. That's what happened.
looked into some other stuff about, like, airy kids and all that.
Yeah.
Came across this story about a bloke, right, who worked in a zoo,
Oh dear.
right? So...
Trouble's brewing.
loving his job and that, but it's quite a lonely sort of job because you don't see many people, you're just dealing with animals all the time, right? So, anyway, he gets a bit pally with a monkey because it's the closest thing to a human.
Well, that ape is.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't really go that close to apes.
Well,
They're dangerous.
what do you mean? What type was it? Do you
Just
mean it was
let
a
him tell the
Was it
story.
a chimpanzee?
I reckon it was a chimp, yeah. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
you
a
don't
chimp.
even know,
It
so
was
it's
a
an
chimp.
ape.
It was a chimp.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, does
So
it?
he
It's the
gets
story.
pally with him.
Right, so he gets pally with
What,
him.
do they go on
and
holiday together?
well, no, I mean, it starts
On the
off
pool together.
just checking each other out and, you know, probably sharing lunch and that together.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, this goes on for a while. You know, they're getting on well and that. And then after a while, right, the monkey starts sort of imitating him a bit more and sort of walking upright,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
right? So he thinks, oh, that's a bit weird. Anyway, they get on really better and what have you. So he thinks he could live at home with me, this,
Yeah.
because we're getting on a storm,
Yeah.
right? So he takes him home, and before
Is
you
this
know
the
it,
beginning of Beneath the Planet of the Apes? I think it is. I think you've seen this on video.
I'm worried because he's already imitating him and they're moving in together. I'm thinking it's maybe a bit like Single White Female. Single White Zookeeper.
Oh, brilliant.
right? So
Go on.
anyway, so it's moving in, and it's getting used to sort of the normal human life. It's having a cup of tea in the morning.
Yeah. PG tips.
As he finishes the day off with
Oh, dear.
Finish the day off with what?
He
with a
doesn't
little
know how to
brandy.
move a piano at one point,
He
does he?
finishes the day off with a little brandy.
yeah.
What, he pours himself. Is he wearing a smoking jacket?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Carl. You're a maniac,
listen,
mate.
no, this is why it attracted me. It's amazing, right? So he's having his brandy and that, loving his life. Next thing you know, he sort of I don't know if he loses it or he gets shaved, but the top half of his body is
Becomes
hairless, right? Apart from his head, right? So he's got a nice.
So it's the opposite of the kid.
Well,
Yeah,
this is what
but
I'm saying.
that would happen.
Right?
Well, hang on, but so you don't know if
You
he
don't
was
even
shaved
know.
or if
How
died?
did it say? Then the hairless. What?
I'll bring it in for you, the story, and then you
Alright,
can
well,
see if
okay,
I've
keep
gone
going,
wrong.
keep going, keep
So
going.
anyway, so this is going on, and he's having a great life. Then the zookeeper starts getting a bit annoyed because he's having a better life than the zookeeper. The zookeeper's in the
This
zoo.
is such
So the
rubbish.
zookeeper's still got to do a day's work. The monkey's at home, he's partying,
Well,
he's
it
got
gets
his
to a
other
point when he
chipmates
says
round.
there's no point you coming in to the zoo because the whole reason of you being there was because you're being kept there.
Right.
And he didn't want to bring the memories back, so he said, you stay at home. So
You are you're talking such.
Just let him finish.
God, I don't know if I can sit here and listen to this drivel.
Let me. I'm fascinated.
it's
It
nearly
sounds
over anyway,
amazing.
right?
It sounds extraordinary. Carl.
So he's walking up, right? He's having a tea in the morning, finishing the day off with brandy. Gets a bit out of hand. Only tries it on with the zookeeper's wife.
Make him go away, Steve.
How does he do that?
Well, because he's around humans a lot, he becomes a bit of a charmer. And
But what is it that he could do to seduce her? Pick fleas out of her?
he didn't say.
He's
but
built. He was built.
Yeah, it's well done.
so what about
Wait, what do you mean? What about it, Carl? It's obviously not true. It's obviously not true.
that? This wasn't on the internet. This was in a book. So it's not a quick joke and just put it on a website. This is in a book.
I don't understand how the
I
monkey...
love that he becomes a charmer. He's got better taste in brandy.
Exactly.
And he, that
What
is-
was it that he was doing that seduced her?
I don't know. Maybe because he was at home more than the zookeeper was.
But what would he be doing, Carl?
the fact that-
He's not going to be talking with her. They're not going to be playing like Trivia Pursuit.
Maybe she liked the silent type. He didn't go into that. He just said that's when the trouble started.
Carl, I don't think there's a week gone where we haven't mentioned an airy kid.
A hairy
Right,
child,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. And something related to a monkey and that. And I thought you could do a regular thing where it's got to come up with a story about an ape or a monkey. And it's called Chimpanzee That. Should we do a jingle?
Well, do a little jingle for us then.
Oh, Chimpanzee That!
Brilliant. That's great.
Right.
So I look forward to that every week.
Yeah.